hi everybody. Happy Friday and welcome to Guild Chat. I'm your host Ruby, and today we're talking to members of the ArenaNet Systems team. But first I want to talk to you about something else. ArenaNet is participating in Extra Life again this year, so I want to talk to you a little bit about that, which is why I'm gratuitously wearing my Extra Life t-shirt today. This is our second year in a row participating in Extra Life. For those of you who aren't aware, this is a yearly gaming marathon in support of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. This is Extra Life's 10th anniversary this year, so we are super excited to be helping out again. Children's Miracle Network hospitals, what does Extra Life do to support them? I have a quick video that I want to show to illustrate that, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. And that is what ArenaNet is working to support this year. We are really proud to be an Extra Life team again this year. And if you would like to help us out, there are a lot of ways that you can do that. You can join Team ArenaNet. The URL should be appearing right below me. Yeah. You can go to our page, join Team ArenaNet, and pledge to live stream on game day, which is Friday, November 2nd until Saturday, November 3rd. Extra Life official game day is November 3rd. ArenaNet, we're going to start live streaming for 24 hours at noon Pacific time, so right this time on Friday, November 2nd. You can also, if you have your own team that you want to be a part of, if you want to lead your own team, ArenaNet partnered with Extra Life this year, and I'm really proud to announce that we are a super team, which means that we are able to host other smaller teams who want to be a part of our overarching goal but want to lead their own team. If you want to be an Extra Life team with your family, with your guild, with your in-game group, with your World versus World friends, you can make that. If you're part of a fan site, if you follow a live streaming community, you guys can make your own team and then join ArenaNet as a sub-team, be on the leaderboards on our page, and help contribute to our overall goal to support Children's Miracle Network. If you are not streaming, you can always donate right there at that URL. So we appreciate in advance all of the help that you guys give the kids at Children's Miracle Network via our efforts. We're really proud to be one of many, many companies helping out this year. So thank you all in advance. Thank you to those of you who have donated so far. We're 3 weeks out and we crossed $1,000 donated the other night. So our overall goal is to meet what we raised total last year, which was $16,555 for Children's Miracle Network. Once we hit that goal from you guys in our community this year, ArenaNet will match that dollar for dollar, taking it up to $33,110. So we are really excited to meet that goal and hope to get there and then blow it right out of the water. All right, so let's chat with the members, some of the members of our systems team. Thank you all for taking some time to hang out today.
Of course.
I will go down the line, let you each talk about who you are and what you do on the systems team.
Hey, I'm Jessica. You've probably seen me on this before. I am a rewards designer on the systems team. I'm specifically responsible for making pretty much all of the content rewards for Living World at the moment, in addition to some other features like the underwater rework.
And I'm Karl McLain, and I'm a game designer on the systems team. And my primary function right now is to is working on balance, working on skills and the regular balance cadence that we do.
Awesome. Right?
I'm Ray. I'm a gameplay programmer for the systems team. I work most specifically on World vs. World, and I'm pretty focused on the world restructuring change that we're working on bringing out.
Awesome. So let's start by talking a little overall. What is the systems team? It's kind of an all-encompassing, lots of different people in there.
I think the most useful way to think of it is it's a service team for all of the aspects of the game. More so, like my role, for example, like if a Living World episode needs rewards done for it, or like thought up, built, designed, it usually falls on me. And then if there's like another release that is in Living World, they will probably also come to systems for rewards. Basically, we work a little bit on pretty much every release.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that like in terms of like skills and stuff like that, we work with like Living World. We work with fractals, with raids, with World vs. World, with PvP to try to like ensure that we have like a good idea about what's going on with the entire game in terms of like player skill balance, and making sure that at least we can get people a little happier every time.
Yeah, the bus never stops for us.
No, it does not.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we support the two kind of live game modes, the competitive game modes that are not, they don't follow the same kind of content release that like a Living World does and things like that. And so all of that combined into itself is the systems team kind of as a whole.
So a little bit of everything.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So you guys overall, but you each you have a little bit of specialization. Like Jessica, you work on rewards, and it sounds like you still need like an overall, like a holistic knowledge of the game and how it works, and none of you can operate in a vacuum.
That's
hopefully
definitely true. It's definitely true, and one of the cool things about kind of bringing us kind of under the umbrella of the systems team is we're getting some of that cross-pollination knowledge now. Rather than having a bunch of people who are hyper-focused, we're getting more people that are starting to cross into like helping like Karl with balance, right? Like there's a lot more communication there. And that communication is very much facilitated by us basically all being on the same team and working toward those goals together. Like I've done programming tasks for the skills guys.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
It's greatly appreciated.
Right. Yeah. So
like,
it helps. Raymond,
we need help.
I think most of the people on the systems team are veteran here enough to have worked on pretty much all of the content types. Like I was originally on story, I was on level for a while. Worked on raids. We all have pretty broad knowledge of how to do each other's shots.
I've done some like rewards implementation and some other content modifications and implementation, that kind of stuff. And skills are kind of where I've landed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm curious about your reward implementation.
Reward implementation.
What did you? Can you be specific? Some
maps were I was able to partially fill
this
some of those.
This isn't a trap question.
What is it? Settlement?
Oh,
yeah.
Gandharan Fields?
The Gandharan Fields.
Oh, okay.
Like some of the rewards in there, I've done some of those. And,
awesome.
And a few other places in the game.
Okay.
Our system is ideally, if I were to get hit by 5 buses tomorrow, that we would still be able to ship.
Hey, our team has a hit by a bus plan.
Does that a hit by 5
buses? The lottery bus. 5 lottery buses.
Anything less than 5, we're expected to be at work the next day. It's fine.
Yeah. Wow, you guys are strict.
We're hardcore.
That's funny. I think most teams probably have that.
I'm pretty tough. I mean, 4 buses would bounce off me. 5?
That's
asking a lot.
Right.
Yeah. I'm pretty rough at that point.
No one expects the 5th bus.
Or the Spanish Inquisition.
That was good. I need to keep you away from the transit center is the thing.
That's the reason I don't ride buses.
She'll just sit there waiting for the buses. Where are they all? So what does a typical workday look like for you guys?
Do we have typical workday?
Yes.
All
It
those
does.
things that
Is
we
that
have?
such a thing? Is that such a thing?
Like,
yeah.
you
Go ahead.
go?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't
Take
know.
turns,
Mine
boys.
seems to be. Mine is always in flux, but like it's usually like come in and like immediately it's like look at like all the feedback that's come in. We got a lot of people just sending me messages or like
sweetie.
yeah, or like reading the forums, reading Reddit, like seeing what's new, what's like
yeah.
what is being written about that day.
Yeah.
You know, Ben will send me a bunch of feedback and stuff like that, and there's just a lot of places that it comes from. So that's generally like the first start, and then it kind of goes into like figuring out what's going on for the rest of the day, meetings, what different
So many meetings.
yeah, and kind of like marching through the day and like getting through all the different goals and all the different
starting out, kind of getting the lay of the land.
Yeah.
Is anything imploding?
Getting the lay of the land, making sure you take a break. for
Yes.
lunch
Oh
and
my
stuff like
gosh.
that.
Yes, please.
But yeah, there's a whole lot more specific that I can get other than like
Yeah.
usually
like,
comes in. It's a matter of like reading at the very start of the day. Sometimes actually I go into like transitioning, like playing the game. Just like I read this feedback in Warver's World. Let's go experience this. And like this thing says is like like this is broken and like how does it and then so sometimes I'll go put that to build together and like start playing through it.
Yeah. So getting hands on.
Yeah, getting the hands on, and then it goes into like going through the rest of the day and like making sure that, like everything that needs to be done gets done.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
one of the first things I often do in the morning is turn to Carl and be like, "Hey, some people were talking about this thing in this Discord that I'm in. And they're like, is this a thing?" And then we'll just talk about it for the beginning of the
There's
morning.
a lot of conversation that has on what's to be had on like a lot of the things that are said. We investigate many different areas.
All the things.
Yeah, and there's a
At some point, the drinking starts.
And then buses.
no.
So you talked about balance a little bit, and that's seeing if something, hey, this is a thing. Does this seem to be a thing for you, or is this just like a few people? How do you decide what if something falls out of your regular, okay, this is what I see, these are the meetings I have, these are the tasks that I'm working on. Here's this outlier.
Oh, this happens a lot. I mean, you get
You might say it happens every day.
yeah.
So not really an outlier.
Being
The
part of
daily
systems team,
explosion.
like we provide services to everybody,
Right.
and so like if somebody in Living World has this problem with like a skill, they're making a creature and it needs to like work a certain way, like it's like they can come to us and we will be like, yep, this is I know how to work this, I know, or at least I can point you in the right direction to get this creature functioning how you want it to. So that kind of stuff kind of pops up a lot, and it can just be like, your task, like my task for the day might be implement on balance for the next iteration, and it needs to and like, but this person is making this Living World stuff, like this is a priority as well. So
Right.
you gotta divvy it out,
Triage.
make sure, triage it out, and make sure that they get the help that they need.
Okay.
Yeah, we get the benefit of all of our tasks are high priority tasks, so like it's very easy to prioritize them that way.
I mean,
Okay.
it's a thing we call randomization when like
Oh, yeah.
something that's not actually your responsibility like lands on your plate
Right.
and you've kind of got to deal with it. Ideally, like we minimize that kind of thing, but it's always going to happen since systems is traditionally expected to be the team that has the most technical knowledge of how the game's hooked up.
And we're very scrappy. We can kind of roll with those punches. Perhaps I wouldn't say better than other teams, but like we're
More experienced.
We're more used to it. Yes,
at
exactly.
it. Yes.
And we actually just our new producer Joe B. I'll give a shout out to him. He's been really good about not only helping us track and identify those kind of randomizations, but helping us figure out which ones are actually, like I said, everything seems like high priority, but what is actually high priority?
Yeah.
How does this fit into our normal release schedule? Like can we wait to help the person who needs help with the living world creature because Karl needs to get, work on the balance patch, first, right?
Yeah.
Helping kind of prioritize these things and track that stuff is really good because, I mean, being a service team, we want to help the teams that we,
Right.
that we do service. So it's tricky sometimes to say, well, actually, we need to work on this other thing first.
Yeah, and if you're a service team for the entire company and everything is high priority,
It's a little overwhelming, not gonna lie.
well, that's where the scrappy part comes in.
Yeah.
So we were talking about things that fall outside of your normal day, and I'm gonna ask Karl actually, because Karl gave me a note about stolen bundles and raids, and I want to hear this story now because all I have are these 4 words.
Oh, this is kind of I guess an example of like when when raids they came to us and they were like, well, I don't know if they came to us actually. Yeah, this is part of it. You didn't see thieves in raids, and like it felt like they were kind of cut out from that side of things because they kind of lacked the utility. They had decent amount of damage, but their utility in terms of like they don't heal very well. They don't heal their allies. They don't deal, and so this was one of the things that we decided to implement to help out thieves in raids. And it's like these raid bosses had just normal stolen bundles on them or none. And so, I went in there and like looked at all the loot tables and stuff like that and said, we can let's make them new items so they can go and steal these cool, like super functional items from these bosses and share them with their allies or create some other good utility for the thieves. And that was that's just an example of
it's
like
one of the how
things
can I fix this and not screw everything up? Because the thing is, everything touches everything, and with few exceptions, which you guys would know about better than me. But I hate to say it's a balance thing because it feels like I'm making a terrible pun and I'm not. But I feel like
I can make a terrible pun if you want me to take
why
the
do you
heat
think
off.
I invited you? But it feels like you have to help whatever team that you're working with and still take the work of your teammates into consideration so you don't accidentally upset something else.
Right.
It's a lot.
There is a lot. I'm telling you something that you already know, but it feels like one of the trickier aspects of your job because sure, I can go in here and I can fix this thing and if you're not taking anything else into consideration, then maybe sure I fixed this one thing and I broke 17 other things.
Yeah, I mean
that's never happened.
And
Ever?
That's kind of a big reason why we have 2 QA embeds, and for people who saw the QA stream, they know that. But it's basically QA members that are on our team and focus on the things that we're working on and the things that we're changing and making sure that stuff's going to go through, largely without being a problem. And that's a huge task because, I mean, if Karl changes a skill and that skill doesn't have a PvP split or a WoWo split, like that affects 3 game modes now. Yeah. And that's not
Karl looks terrified all of a sudden.
You don't need to put the camera on me. I can look terrified in private.
It's shell shock. He's remembering all the times that he had to change a single skill.
I mean, it's like a wise man once said, with great power comes, please don't screw everything up.
Yes, that actually is really wise. So how do you make those decisions about, okay, I need to fix this thing. What direction do I change this in? What do I add? What do I take away? What do I adjust?
I mean, there's a ton of discussion. Like, if you go to our area and you see our desks, like, a bunch of us are like just kind of in a loop, and then there's a bunch of us in another loop. We're like kind of like an 8 almost.
Yeah.
And like so that like the skills guys can turn around and talk to other skills guys, or their or the QA or Joe B, and like I'm when I need to talk to Ben P, our designer on the competitive modes, like he's like I can look over my shoulder and talk at him like that. That communication is really key for our teams. And like I said, I shout at Karl like, "Hey,
I'm standing up and like talking with like Ben and Raymond and everybody else on that side of the room. We're pretty compact.
Your pod has to be so loud.
It is the loudest room I've ever worked in here. Not gonna lie.
It's the jackhammer though.
I'm not gonna name names, but someone in this row, very loud person.
I'm not in there, as I just want to say.
It's me.
Is it you?
It's right.
So does that mean you get the most done, or?
I mean, Maybe, sure, yeah. That's
okay.
yeah. We'll go with that.
So it's communication within the team.
There is a lot of conversation that happens, and a lot of like planning and sort of like we'll start a conversation and then say we don't have a good resolution for this right now, and then we'll just like think on it, we'll stew on it for a while. Sometimes just like a half hour later, somebody will be like, "But wait,
Yeah.
There
we
you
have
go.
the answer."
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Or,
sometimes
or,
it takes
or,
weeks.
or it takes longer than that. And
Yeah.
like, you know, sometimes we get to the point where we're like, we just got to make a decision on this, and like let's figure out what the best option that we have right
Right.
now is, because
Yeah.
waiting longer is not the right choice at this point, right? And
Yeah.
and that's kind of like, when we do skill splits for PvP and WoW, right? Like there's a consideration. Is there a way to affect the skill in a way that is good for all 3 game modes all at once?
Yeah, and so like every time we make a balance adjustment,
Yeah.
it's like we try to consider it for like where does this actually need to touch, and we have kind of a paradigm. There are 3 game modes basically. Like there's PvE, War vs. World, and PvP.
Right.
And War vs. World is like this.
It's
is
like cross between the two.
oddest one because it's taking all of your PvE stuff, and then but it kind of uses a PvP rule set, and so we try to it's different to split it. Oftentimes, if it needs to change for PvP, we try to take the change into War vs. World as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes the change doesn't
Exactly.
need to affect War vs. World, and like it really should just be like.
Right.
So we stick it on the PvE side of things.
I like it would bringing the PvE or the PvP split would be worse for World versus World,
Yeah.
right? Because it functions differently, and like
Yeah.
and then you go we can talk about the kind of the spiral chaos of skill battles, but like World v World has multiple ways to play World v World, right?
Yeah.
Running around with a Zerg versus solo roaming versus small squad roaming, PPT, PPK, like all of those things want different things from basically the same
Right.
pool of skills, right?
Right.
Like, and that becomes an incredibly difficult thing to consider. Do we change this, which is really powerful in solo roaming, but that would mess up these Zerg builds? And so, like, how do we balance that?
Yeah.
And that's all discussion. Like, that's all discussion within the team.
I
Like,
think
that's,
one of the biggest myths about game dev is that game devs will just make a snap decision without weighing all the consequences.
Thinking
And
about that gives me hives.
I guarantee you, any decision that is ever made for our game, and probably most games, is also accompanied by many, many, many heated discussions.
Yeah.
I would say one of the most important skills to have if you want to work on game dev is to be able to talk very impassioned about something, very heatedly about something, and then come out of that and not hate the other person afterwards.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's not personal.
Yeah.
Conversations, arguments have to happen. Like
Right.
everybody. So we've got multiple people working on skills, and we have different opinions about a lot of things. But it's good for we are able to kind of filter through a lot of that by maybe it's like bias, or maybe it's just sort of like yeah, I'm trying to think of the actual words to put
No,
into
that
that.
makes
But
sense.
we come at things from different angles and
Perspectives.
different perspectives, and it
Well, and I'm sure
kind of
different
boils
play
it all,
styles.
and
What
we're
kind
able
of
to
player you
boil it
are.
all down and kind of get to the actual heart of what the problems are that we need to
Yeah.
be solving.
Right. Exactly. And I always like to remind myself, everyone here wants to make a great game.
Yeah.
No one here wants to make a not great game. So Carl's coming at it from that angle. It's just a different perspective on how to make a great game. And that, throughout my game career, has made it a lot easier for me to see things from the other person's side, maybe make, changes to the way I'm looking at things so that I can, get a better picture for things.
Yeah, that's a joke that I've made before, and half-heartedly kidding, saying nobody is coming in here every morning going, "How can I ruin someone's day?" Because I feel like it wouldn't last very long.
Yeah.
But everybody here wants to make a great game. I need it on a throw pillow or something.
Yeah. And making games is hard. That's the other
Making
throw
games
pillar.
is hard. No, it's easy. I hear it.
If I had some
I thought you were
sage
being
advice.
serious there
No.
for a second. And I'm like, are you crazy,
No,
Ruben?
I've
It's
been
really
here for
hard.
a while.
It's really hard.
You were talking about the heated discussions, and you reminded me that years back, I was spitballing with some friends about different episodes, about different live stream topics we could do. And some of those people worked here. And I said, what if we did like, let's follow the process of skill balance and how that works. And he immediately said, just show a video of a bar brawl.
Is this like
It was John.
It was okay. Yeah.
Heaters?
Yeah. Yep.
Courtney.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. That was, I mean, there was no hesitation. He was like, just show a video of a bar brawl and say it's in a meeting room. It's fine.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I would have to say is like learning people's communication styles is super important.
Really?
Some people, they argue in different ways. Some people will just immediately just kind of stonewall and say, no, this idea is the thing.
Oh, no.
But if you learn but that's only their initial reaction. So if you say what you got to say and then like kind of walk away for a little bit, come back a couple hours later, they've let it stew and they process it, and then they're ready for more of that.
Plant the seed.
Yeah.
Let them actually think about what you said. Yeah,
I would say if you don't have the ability to have your mind changed, probably shouldn't work in game dev.
Oh boy.
Because everybody in this room has been wrong on a number of occasions, and being wrong is fine as long as a group you come out with the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The systems area is, we have tons of whiteboards. They're like,
we're surrounded in whiteboards
all around the room, and everything they're we've written down. There's like ideas of like, let this stew sort of thing. Of like, do we need this? And so like it's fun to like kind of go back and see what we've talked about, all the conversations that we've had,
and how it's like a visual progression of how things have come along.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what Jessica was saying about there aren't snap decisions. It's not, no one person can walk in and be like, this is how it is. This is now the decision. Everybody sit down. It's not really a thing.
You definitely hope that no one's going to come in and try to make that like command.
I mean, good luck.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely, for sure. Fun trivia fact about our whiteboards. So we haven't always been in that little pod, but when we moved there, the whole group moved there all at the same time. Written on every single whiteboard over and over and over again, filling every whiteboard, was Praise Joko. Over and over and over again, like hundreds of times.
That's low-key creepy.
Someone went insane.
It kind of is. Like,
but it was
all work
awesome.
and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah, but Praise Joko over and over and over and over and over again. It was awesome.
I think for Halloween, I'm just going to write "Help Me" backwards in red marker at every single whiteboard.
All right.
Yeah,
there you go.
That'll do it.
That's valid. Work with Buffy and Eva on that, because I think they could help you step it up.
Yeah. Do it in actual blood.
Okay, so I have a question about when teams come to you like, hey, this thing is broken, or we're doing this and we need rewards for it. How involved, and maybe it just depends on the team, but how involved do those other teams stay? Or is it just, okay, we'll work on this and get back to you? Or are they involved in that process as they go?
I think we've all got different experiences.
Ooh, I'd love to hear
that.
Things are malleable.
I think it's important to remember we do fairly different things. For rewards, it tends to be, I talk to them extensively over the course of the whole release. You should see my Skype window. It's like 30 windows open.
No.
It's impossible to parse. But because rewards is trying to match up what we make to what fits best with the content, it's important that we have a very close communication with the content designers. Also, content designers will usually have a very specific thing they want, so that communication helps ensure that there's no like cross wires or anything.
Okay.
Like the one thing you can't do is play telephone with like art requests and that kind of thing.
Yeah. How about you?
It depends. Sometimes it's like an involved process where like go back and forth and try to design through some stuff. Other times it's a matter of like, I'm going to make this thing for you. And
Here you go.
and then like we're gonna have a review on it. Then you can tell me what you think about it. Like, but we had that initial meeting, and like it might just be exactly what you're looking for in the end of it. Not that it happens that frequently though.
The dream.
Yeah, the dream is that. But yeah, sometimes like they don't really need to be involved with like all of the development of like how you made that thing for them.
Come watch me type.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like, okay, here's this thing. This is how it's looking. Is that all right? Okay. Well, where do we need to put it? Let's put it there.
Okay, that's fair. Ray?
I would say that everything that I do has to be more collaborative, because as a programmer, I don't make content generally. I mean, some of the things I can do can be very content centric, like especially like if I'm adding new UI or like quality of life features and stuff like that. That can, I guess, be considered as content. But if I'm adding some script actions for new skill stuff, like Karl's going to have to use that stuff, otherwise nothing's going to happen, right? So like just as a programmer, like it's a lot more collaborative. I'm going to do my chunk, and then someone else is going to do their chunk, and then come back to me when I didn't do it right or something. So yeah, like there's definitely a lot of back and forth. Now with like world restructuring, I'm kind of all by myself. So like I mean like
it's a whole world.
It right now it is largely programming tasks. Like that's what we're working on. So it is just the programming staff working on it. So it's like designers have feedback and design doc stuff that we're working from, but like just the actual implementation of things is very programming centric. So I guess it can be more central to me.
That makes sense. So you mentioned you were working on world restructuring, and that brings up a question that you may not be able to answer. And if one of you or all of you can't answer it, that's okay. But I'm curious, what are you working on right now that you're excited about? And if you can't say, that's okay. I cannot emphasize that enough.
I'm working on a quality of life. Well, I actually just finished a quality of life feature for War vs. the World that I'm super excited about because it's something that I've wanted. That's always the fun thing about working in games, especially on a live game. I want a thing, and then if everyone thinks it's a good idea, I can go ahead and do that thing.
Yes.
So that's super exciting. I mean, I'm really excited about world restructuring. There's a lot of cool tech there that we're building, so that stuff is pretty exciting to work on. I'm getting to touch like lots of different things. Like I'm writing SQL and I'm doing C++ code and Python code, and it's all over the place, and it's very exciting and
that's
super
awesome.
nerdy, but it's awesome.
You're in a building full of huge nerds.
Yeah, that's
like it's okay.
Excuse me, don't put me in your boat.
You're in my boat. I'm sorry. We're all giant nerds.
Not nerd.
But yeah.
For me, it's hard for me to talk about really anything since I've been working so closely with Living World, and spoiling something from Living World will cause ninjas to be sent after me.
After they finish with me, so
they're already here. They're behind the set. You can't
they're in
see
the
them.
ceiling tiles right now. There's not even ceiling tiles, except for there are. So
those are the ninja ones.
now I'm nervous, but
they're not ninjas. It's okay.
But that's what a ninja would say. So for me, I think the thing I'm excited about is always to see player reaction to the stuff we're giving them, because like rewards. The way I look at it is motivation, right? Rewards is the team that is responsible for motivating people to like play the content and to try and make that content feel rewarding, and to see if what you have been spending all your time on is actually like hitting the right notes. That's really exciting to me.
It's really gratifying, isn't it?
Yeah,
I like it. Awesome. If you can't say, it's okay. Seriously.
So working on the next balance iteration is one of those things. It's kind of we're always doing, and like, so we just got done with the last one. We're kind of got our last hot fixes done, and we're seeing the results of the previous balance patch. And so, we've been gathering information and we're looking at new kind of goals and stuff like that. And so we're kind of springing into action to get that the next iteration going. With that said, like, I've also there's some like skill reworks. I've actually got something in prototype right now, and it's like basically being like in the approval process. And then I'm like,
No,
I don't know what
I'm
he's.
like, I was about to
smirking
ask,
about.
like, oh, which skill? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, of course, this is why you're being vague.
Yeah, this is
I'm
why.
waiting for the ninja to come dropping down behind Carl.
And so like
Suddenly he vanishes.
basically, within the next like I think Monday, I'll have like the answer as to what when this thing could go out.
Awesome.
So I'm kind of excited about that one.
That's great.
In addition, there's some stuff that's going out Tuesday, I think. The next iteration.
Carl, the ninjas.
Yeah.
This is my
there's-
stone face.
They're getting ready.
there's a couple of just fine-tuned stuff for
They're on their
balance
way.
that we have going.
You haven't said
And
which Tuesday.
I'm also trying to
Yeah,
remember
there's a
what
lot
the
of-
date of next
Yeah,
Tuesday is.
there's a
I'm
lot
just
of
like, ugh.
Tuesdays from now until forever.
It
so
is, and
could be
some of
any-
us are working like 3 weeks ahead. So
yeah,
I'm-
like there's something
not
that's going
actually-
out like sometime soon for like just some fine-tuned balance stuff, and then like some stuff we've been working on for Werewolf's World.
Yeah,
Yeah, really excited about that one. I think
we
we'll
were at.
probably talk about that one. If
I
we
mean,
want.
we could definitely talk about. We were actually
Yeah.
we talked about it beforehand in case there was an opportunity to talk about it on the Wovo stream. We do Wovo streams every Thursday at 2:30.
you should watch them. You guys, they're good.
They're a ton of fun. We get lots of different people from
It's
the
usually
studio
me
to come in,
squealing a whole
Yeah.
lot.
which is always
He's
exciting.
not even on the stream. He just comes
Yeah,
into
he
the
just
room,
comes in and
sticks his
squeals.
head in.
But like I going back to things we're excited about. Like that's actually one of the cool things about our team being a very well, like the stuff we're working on for external teams is obviously stuff we can't we don't generally talk about. But there is more freedom for us to do back and forth with the player base about feedback that they're giving, bounce ideas off of them. Like we posted the world restructuring design and asked the Wovo community like, hey, is this something that you guys think would be good, and what are your questions? And we think this is the right move for the game mode, and that was a ton of fun, and it was very informative. Like there were there's player perspective. Like we talk about having different perspectives on the game. Like we're like this tiny subset of all the people that play our game, right? And all of those people have their own perspectives on what's important. And like there was a lot of viewpoints that we didn't even think about because we didn't have that visibility. And so like bringing those people into the fold and like kind of like helping us think about all the different angles we need to think is super good. And that's why like we've got a little bit more leeway to do some of that stuff. And we're definitely vague about things because we don't we can't promise that something's going to come out on a particular release because maybe something goes wrong or we have to wait, and we don't want to disappoint people, but at the same time we want to get that feedback, and we want to be able to bounce the ideas off of people. That way we can make better choices overall, which is actually like why we were talking about changes to the way marked works in World versus World, which is like a thing that we've been talking about and iterating on and stuff like that. And we've got some cool stuff that's going on there. And like, when I don't know exactly when that's going to come out, but like there's cool stuff that we're working on there. And we were talking about like bringing it up on the stream if there was an interaction there that was like something that we were looking at. But it didn't come up last week, so we didn't talk about it.
It's one of those things we're kind of excited about.
Yeah.
It's a small change, but it's more of like this is quality of life, sort of, and changing the way that people will play around this sort of thing.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of times the QL changes are the things that I get really excited about because they just make the game better overall.
Mm-hmm.
And you had mentioned putting world restructuring in front of the players.
Mm-hmm.
How can players be helpful and in guiding you guys from their own perspective?
Post on the forums.
Yep.
We
Post on the forums.
Politely post on the forums.
I mean,
Ray.
I like. No, I mean, like obviously, be polite. But like, I mean, if you're passionate about something, that can come off, aggressive sometimes. But
constructive criticism is great.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
don't say something's
great.
bad. Explain why you think it's bad.
Yes.
And then now we have something to go off of.
Yeah,
But
don't tell Ray he's bad. He knows he's bad.
Yeah, I know I'm bad. It's fine.
You're a helper.
Yeah, it's really important to be able to get your points across without like being inflammatory. Of like
Yeah, it
like
is.
using that kind of language is a little bit it's kind of not constructive to what you're trying to do. If you want to make an impression and
Yeah.
Maybe keep the end goal in mind
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a way. And is the end goal to make the dev feel bad because they're bad, or is it to improve the thing that you feel like is messed up?
Exactly. And like I think this is true of the players, right? Like we talked about us not wanting to make a bad game. I don't think they want a bad game either, right? Like they're coming at it from that exact same angle. Everyone wants a great game.
We all want the same thing. We want an amazing game.
Exactly. And so, but post on the forums, we read so much of the forums, and like we don't have a ton of time to reply to every post. And so sometimes it seems like we're not, we're not getting that engagement, but we are. Like we totally are.
oftentimes it's better to just see the interaction between you and the other people who are similar, who are also on the forum, and they also have opinions about the things you're talking about.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, your opinion may evolve based on what they have to say, and like that's that interaction of seeing how you talk with one another is impactful, and it kind of helps to give us perspective about how people feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to us.
Yeah.
And I mean, you ping me in game. I love when people say, "Great game, love what you're doing." That's
that
super
feels so
exciting.
good.
That's super exciting every time someone does that. And then like I'm awkward and I don't know what to say back. Like, thanks, great playing the game. Like, I mean, because like the players are part of that, part of making the game great, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like especially the communities. Like,
You say thanks for resing me in World World.
yes, exactly.
That's what you
Thanks
do.
Thank you for being part of our community, because that's what you're trying to convey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great way to say it. Yeah, like but yeah, it's a ton of fun. I actually had we were playing on a German server for one of the live streams, and someone just started whispering me like line after line of German, and I'm like, and they're like English ? I'm like, yeah, just
Please.
English, just English. I'm sorry. And then they like redid the whole thing, and like it was awesome because I got to interact with the person, and I felt really bad for not being able to speak German because like they could speak English. I feel like I should return the favor almost.
Yeah.
I speak German.
Well, okay.
Okay,
Well, then maybe
well,
you should
next
come
time
to the
get
live stream more
Jessica.
often.
That's funny you say that, because when I'm playing, a lot of times I will hop over to EU servers just because, hey, and especially when I'm tagged up. So I want to go over there and, I want to talk to people there too. And the last time I did that a couple days ago, a player greeted me by running up and in Say Chat screaming at me in German. And I only recognized one word, and it was a bad one. And it was like, he seems very passionate about this. I opened up on my other monitor Google Translate, and I typed that entire thing into Google Translate. And I was like, oh, okay, you're saying something reasonable. You're just very excited about it. And then I was like, English? And we talked in English, and I was like, well, since you asked me so nicely, I will look into it, but I don't actually have your answer. But it is
very intense.
Yeah.
Yes, he was like, I'm just very excited.
Very passionate.
Yeah, but it is neat getting to talk to players from all over the world.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. It's
Even if I
very
have to run them through Google Translate and undo the caps lock. So I lost my question. I'm very sorry. I was just thinking about playing the other day.
We're on player interaction.
Yeah, we were talking about how players can help out. And I actually wanted to wrap up by asking you each the favorite part of your job. What is the thing that you look most forward to? I'm trying not to cough. I'm sorry.
So I think the very convenient answer is I really enjoy players seeing what I make and enjoying that. But actually, I think I'm going to give the answer that a lot of people want to give. I enjoy the discussions with colleagues. I'm going to regret saying this.
Let's find out.
There is such a thing as having way too many meetings, which is definitely us sometimes. But also, I do really appreciate getting a variety of viewpoints on an idea and that kind of debate and that process where you're all trying to find the best thing for the game, and you've all got different ideas of how to do it, and all of you are a little bit right, and like trying to like source out just trying to squirrel out what the right answer is. That's satisfying to me. Solving those logic puzzles with other designers is very interesting to me.
That's really valid. I like that. That's very valid.
One of my favorite meetings, actually. God, I can't believe I have a favorite meeting. One of my favorite meetings is the economy council meeting, because as a rewards person, I'm part of the economy council, and we kind of just keep an eye on how the economy is doing, and see what's coming up in terms of releases and how it might affect the economy. And that, yeah, Illuminati confirmed economy council.
I'm sitting here going, I didn't even know we had something called that.
They're definitely gonna send ninjas after me.
Where do you meet?
I can't
In the
tell you
basement?
that. The sub basement.
Yeah, the sub basement.
Parking garage level C.
Yeah.
But,
There's actually a D.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Oh.
You gotta pull that one book on the bookshelf, and then the elevator gets exposed.
You need the passcode.
I wish. Anyway,
But yeah,
I'm fascinated.
the discussions there are really fun for me, just because like we have tons of data that we look at, and we're trying to interpret it, and then we're trying to see like what is an acceptable range and what is not an acceptable range, and like what we can do to affect it in a more positive way for the player.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I love that answer. All right. Top that.
Oh, I don't know. So for me, it's the constantly learning stuff. Whether it's like different ways to script things, or new ways, or better ways, that kind of stuff, or learning how to a lot of it is like learning how to communicate with people, and that is something that is just feel like I'm always trying to work at, and it feels really great to be able to communicate better with your colleagues, and recognize when you haven't communicated well, and try to improve on that. And so like I don't know, like to me is like I feel like I'm learning and growing and trying to and finding better ways to do things, and learning better ways to implement balance and
That's fantastic.
and make skills and do and I think that like doing the skill reworks is one of those things, is because it's taking something we've kind of known and sort of held dear to us for these last 6 years,
Wow.
and saying, okay, this has lost its value, and it doesn't really fit the game anymore, and like how do I take what I've learned over the course of time, what we've done, and make this into something useful again.
Wow. That's so
That's
good.
me.
All right. How about you, Ray?
I was trying to think of like a joke answer. I was gonna say like, I really love my desk. It's really nice.
You love Whiskey Friday.
Yeah.
Whiskey Friday's hey,
Nobody tells me anything.
His desk stands and
Hey, I got like
lowers?
it's like an electronic
Like
elevator
the free
desk. It's
drinks in the
super good.
fridge.
Yeah, the free drinks are great, except when they're 83 degrees because the fridge is broken.
It's just
Did you
the one
notice
fridge.
that?
The one
It is that today.
The one on the
drinks are
right is
hotter
okay.
than the drinks are hotter than the live stream room when we're doing Worldwood live stream.
And it is really warm. The fridge on the right is okay. They're fixing the one on the left.
Yeah, no, I know.
But I found out the hard way that the tea was warm
So if
yesterday,
you like
and that was
warm Dr.
horrifying.
Pepper,
I don't
now's
like
the
any
time.
Dr. Pepper. You can have mine. God.
the
But what's your actual?
my real answer is I really love like interacting with the community. Like that was like one of the first things I jumped on when I started here. Is I'm like, you know, what do you guys do when you talk to the community? And they're like, oh, we talk on the forums a little bit. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna be posting on the forums every week. I'm like, I don't know how many Discord channels I'm in for various servers because I'm all over the place. And
We're making an MMO.
right. I know. Yeah,
I've
like there's
got quite a few Discords.
there's
myself as well.
there's so many things like that. And then
I'm
like
more of a lurker though.
He's here.
Yeah.
like, I love interacting with the players. I love kind of and helping to in a lot of ways facilitate that communication between like our team and the player base and stuff like that, and helping that out. Responding to things on the forums. I mean, the World Restructuring post alone had like, I don't know, something like 18 pages of
Oh, wow.
replies. And like, McKenna and I just spent days just going through that and talking to each other
That's
about
so good.
responses and then responding to feedback. And I really love that stuff. I mean, well, I think both of these folks' answers were great too. Like interacting with the team here. This is the best job I've had in terms of like just breadth of knowledge and being able to have mentors for all sorts of things. Like we have like Arena at University where people in the studio give talks about all sorts of things.
Everything.
Anything you could think. There's the designer training days where designers go off and give talks about various aspects of game design, and I get to go to those, and that's super cool and awesome and fun.
Those are different from Whiskey Fridays, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I mean, sometimes the same topics of conversation come up, but you know, no, but like, just so many aspects of this company are awesome. Like, you know, like Jessica was saying, we're very interested in hearing everyone's voice. Sometimes to a fault, right? Like, now there are too many people in this meeting, right? There are too many voices right now. We don't have a good enough handle on what we're asking here, and then the meeting goes awry, right?
Oh no.
But at the same time, like we're striving to get that input from all different perspectives, and that's super cool too. Like, there's so many awesome things about working here.
I think there's this misconception, this general attitude that gamers and game devs are misanthropes that are very introverted and, like, you know, shut in. And
This has so not been my experience.
yeah, that can't be farther than from the truth. I mean, we work with huge teams, different backgrounds, different values, different experiences, different perspectives on everything, and being able to try and suss out the useful parts of everyone's opinion is a very important skill, and also maintaining positive relationships with everyone is a very useful skill. Being able to interact with community and be a positive figure for the community, very important skill. Social skills are like one of those things that don't get talked about a lot in game dev, but they are super important if you want to succeed in this industry.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate your time. You can find us in a whole bunch of different places. Ray, do you want to talk about the World vs. World live stream and when and where people can see that real quick?
Yes.
Thursdays, 2:30 Pacific time. We stream in NA and EU. We swap data centers every week, and then we play on a different world every week. So if we haven't been on your world yet, we're coming soon.
We're coming for you.
I think. Oh man, I had the servers. Yeah, there's a super secret, no one knows about it, achievement for killing a dev. So
Surprise!
even if you're not on our team, you can come get that achievement.
Not in real life.
Come fight
Not
us
in
in
real
real
life.
life.
No,
Oh,
in game.
my goodness.
In game for sure.
Gotta add that clause.
Thank
Don't
you.
start driving buses here.
But if you do, it has to be 5, apparently.
That's what it takes. Take me out.
But yeah,
That's
we
right.
next week. I want to say it's Augury Rock.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'm
Like
so
no,
sorry.
I think next week is Augury. Like Mark can bring it up. He knows where that website is. And now
Surprise,
I'm putting
Mark.
Mark on the spot, which is exciting.
Mark's leaving the room.
But the next NA world I know because we talked about it on the stream is no. Anyways, like we posted in the live stream schedule.
If you want to know the answer, watch the live stream
come
on Thursday.
to the live stream on Thursday. But we're actually going to be on Blackgate in 2 weeks.
Oh,
So-
okay. I thought you
I've
just
been,
randomly remembered.
I've been trying to get chat to determine my build for me.
Oh yeah.
So I could if I could figure it out beforehand.
Post on the forums
It would
what
be-
Carl's
it'd be
build
nice,
should be
because
for
I
the next live stream.
I have a lot of resources. I can make sort of whatever build you're trying to get me to play. But yeah, I've got I got a decent amount of builds, and I'm willing to try to make more and try to make the thing that you would like me to make.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be good. That just needs to be a whole World
Like-
versus World live stream. What build should Carl run?
Condi Kala like Renegade was one of those that It's
No,
all like
what was it? The birthday
Birthday
blaster.
Necromancer.
Yeah, I think it was
Oh
Ellie.
my
Or Ellie, or maybe it
gosh.
was Ellie. I
That
don't
one
remember.
was.
That was-
It's got to be somewhat viable. Not like.
I mean, maybe it's fine.
Does
we
it
don't know.
though?
Well, I mean, I got to be able to use weapon skills.
He at least he either needs to be able to defend himself through an offensive action or have a lot of health so that he can run away.
See, the thing is, devs have to look good when they're playing, or they will never hear the end of it.
Oh, right.
Like, God help
I've.
any
Oh, no,
one
I
of
look
us who
awful.
gets on
My
a
characters
stream
look awful
and
all
clicks
the
their
time.
skill.
I think
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
3
Yeah.
weeks ago I jumped off of a cliff to try to kill a downed enemy, and
Yep.
I discovered quickly that there was nothing that I could like jump onto.
No.
And he couldn't glide.
And then I was like, quick glide. Can't glide either. Well, this is my life.
Mistakes were made.
And then down, instantly dead. Rallied my.
He rallied the guy they were fighting, which was the best part.
Are you serious?
This is the kind of thing that happens.
That's terrible. See, I usually just wind up accidentally hitting my 4 key when I'm a staff Ellie, and that's
Yeah.
like I will never learn not to. So.
Yeah, I've done stuff like while I'm trying to show off
Yeah.
elite specialization or something like that. I'm like just not quite familiar with what I'm doing, and like just died as Faunir. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
it's
no.
the worst.
No, rocketing backwards off a cliff is
there
my
are things that I
signature
won't be able to
move.
live down, but at the same time, that's okay.
I mean, that's part of the stream. Like, I mean,
It's part of it.
the stream is super casual. We can read chat, and
Yeah.
we respond to chat if we can.
All right, so
it's super good.
Thursdays, 2:30 Pacific.
2:30 Pacific.
Yes. And
I'll be on there too. Usually.
Carl, yes.
It's
Yes,
usually
I wasn't
somewhat
like, but
usual.
not Carl.
Yeah.
I just happened to be in Race Eyeline, so.
Yeah.
Right, and Carl too. So, all right. Well, I will let you all get back to work. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for talking about what the systems team does. A little bit of what it does.
Yeah.
So
I feel like there's more.
There is a little bit more.
They just don't have enough time.
Yes, I will let you. I will let you start doing it. You all, thank you for joining us, and make sure you check out our Extra Life page. And thank you again for your support. Thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with us. Bye, guys.
Bye.